In our very first story, residents of Adabraka suburb of Accra believe they were the hardest hit in Wednesday's downpour, which is taking over their homes and destroyed properties. The residents who have been scooping out floodwaters from their homes and shops say they do not even know where to pass the night following the rains. They blame some stalled construction works on a drain in the area for the situation. Komladom was at Adabraka and spoke to some of the residents.
Sema, but this is so deep. Gosh. So this is Adabraka, an area close to the Odona market, and as you can see, a few hours of rain has left several homes here submerged in floodwaters. As you can see, people are packing out some of the items that have been destroyed by the rain. Let me see if I can speak to some of the people here. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us here on Joy News. How long did the rain last, and how much of destruction has been caused to your property and people living around you?
It has caused a lot. It has caused a lot. But the rain doesn't it doesn't last like it is. I don't think it's like I don't think it's even 2 hours. Okay. Not 2 hours. But the main problem is the construction that they were doing since 2015 that they give the contract.
The construction hasn't been completed?
They have blocked that place. So the water is not getting chance to flow. This rain is not supposed to even go into our rooms and kind of stuff. But because of the blocking of the place, so the water doesn't get chance to flow. If you watch, the water from the top, this is their route. But when the thing is blocked, it can't go. Since 2015, they give the contract. Understand?
So is it the severest form of destruction that has been caused by the rain, or it gets worse than this sometimes?
Oh, it gets worse than this one. Even look at the 2015, the 3rd June. The level of the water, our house, you can't see the zingle. You see, that's the June 4th rain that bends. Nobody have even come to our aid. Understand? That June 3rd, you only see the zingle. But this time, you see the level. You see the level. 2015 even past there.
What's your name, sir?
My name is Amiru.
Amiru?
Yeah.
Amiru. So you just heard the Amiru. Let me see if I can speak to some more residents here. Sir, I know you people have complained several times about this.
What again do you want
So for now, I want you to speak directly to those who are supposed to get this thing fixed once and for all.
Who are those?
For those, you know, the Metropolitan Assembly officials and all the others who are supposed to ensure that the drain, as you talk about, is properly fixed so that the floodwaters can have the channel and get into the drain. Speak to them directly.
Please, we need help from government so that, well, they can help us to solve the problem. Yes.
You had some residents there. They are fed up, essentially, because they've complained several times, but it appears that nothing seems to be done about their situation. And there is a salon here. The owners of this salon are still scooping floodwaters out of a salon or a TV repairing shop here. Let me speak to the owner of a shop. Several television sets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. At least 12 television sets so far have been destroyed, and many more are being collected from inside the shop. Let me speak to the owner of a shop. Let him tell us the experience here. Ofane oiwado. Ofane biantone no ni inakashi OTV jinfe fiteni kambie. Mino ba ye.
Mini yo biare. Mbra komo yi. Nekeni ne every year it happen. Every year. Every year mabonyo moneke ya. Ekome customer se ekome ya ni aminu na shishi. Ke ba ne ko kala ke o. Ni mo ne fere ke ba ekome ba tasibo o sa no ha TV ale. Ona boni yo. Every no, come on. Both the come body in a fee. On I. Every year, Bonyomo. I told Peter Nani.
Peter. So Peter Nani is the owner of this TV repairing shop here. As many as 12 to 15 television sets have been destroyed by the floodwaters. He's tired, he's fed up. He says every year this is what he has to go through, spend extra funds to replace the television sets of some of the customers who do not want to take a no for an answer. He said they are tired. She be an manage alternative. Many obanyo fee and a problem here as an individual beyond many as an yame fix the drain and got an fix the
Embra, mini yo mafibiane. Mi be waleku. On mishi mi be waleku. come on, every year. I mean, you are near, I can hear engineers. I'm a junior engineers and junior. Come on, go to Biane. I can't have got any tuning. Come on, a block in there, or road, a block or Munibaya. On a money, it won't be a name in my Mafibiane. I can all the time, I can engineer, or engineering. What problem is solved all the time with the same thing? Every year, one born no more. Of an hour.
So,
I am here. I'm quite never feeling what's the problem of what's for first. I been a kind. First of all, it's part a benakai.
okay, well, I can't drain any. I'm a complete no G problem.
And the way fit I.
So Mr. Anani is a very devastated man here around this time because all his television sets, those that were brought to him by clients to be fixed, all have been destroyed by the floodwaters.
Drainage and if any okay. She need lack or to near share season share. Obafi mental provision co at least for now. Can more near flow. They are not blocking way. Yeah, no all the time. Sunday never.
So he says, at least a temporary fix, for example, perhaps some drainage works here as the contractor looks to complete the major work on that particular Odo drain, so that some of these floodwaters can be collected as and when it rains. But it appears all their calls and their concerns are falling on deaf ears.
All right, so those are some very terrible, worrying images. They have in the studio with me the Director of Communications for the National Disaster Management Organization, Mr. George AEC. Good evening. And we'll be speaking with him because he is in a position to tell us the extent of damage and how much flooding we've had to experience in Accra. But joining me on the phone right now is Joe Tete Potofi, who's the Deputy Director in charge of forecasting at the Ghana Meteorological Agency. And he says Accra had as much as 72.1 millimeters of rain. He joins us with more on Wednesday's downpour. Good evening to you, Mr. Potofi. Now, you tell us how much rain. You're talking about 72.1 millimeters of rain. Is that enough to cause the extent of flooding that we've seen in Accra?
Good evening to your listeners, Israel. Yes, as I said earlier, you realize that last Monday we had some rain, and then the previous past week too we have some rain. So already the ground is already saturated. And it is not only the rains in Accra that will get Accra flooded. Accra is in a valley area. So uphills, Ebri and its environs, Isawam and its environs, all the rains in those areas will definitely, when the gutters are overflowed, they will definitely run through to Accra into the sea. So Accra becomes the how do you call it, the reservoir for the water to get into the sea. And the rains that we have today, yes, as I've been saying, the resilience of Accra is continuing to reduce. In some past, we only have about 100 and something millimeters of rain before you can get Accra flooded. But now, as you said, it's about 71 millimeters of rain over airport, 79 over Accra Academy. And then we have 82 around the Osu area along the coast. Because of the resilience, as I said, of Accra, it's not able to hold a lot of water because of the settlement and our behavior of putting up buildings. And then when you put out the buildings, we make sure that we tile everywhere. So when you floor everywhere, you put concrete there, the water will not be able to percolate into the soil. So the runoffs will become more and more and more. And by so doing, it will give us what we call a flash flood. And once the Odo drain is also not well desilted, and then the level is a bit high, the groundwater will also be full. And when it's full, it will overflow. And that is what is causing all these problems.
Now, Mr. Potofi, did we see this coming? How much warning did we have that we're going to experience rains like these?
I think when you look at for today, around 1 a.m., 1:30 a.m., we issue a weather warning over the middle belt as part of the northern region. Then around 11:30 also, we issue another warning for the coastal areas. We said it's going to be a heavy rain with a gusty wind. And when we look at the wind speed that we had, we had over 86 kilometers of wind that passed, which is very, very strong. Just like you are driving a car with a speed of 84 kilometers. That is the wind that passed through the coastal areas, and it will definitely bring havoc to properties and human inhabitants.
Now, on Monday, we had some rain, and you said the ground essentially was already saturated, and then we've had some more on Wednesday. Are we to expect any more in the coming days?
Very well. Normally, our race will taper by the end of June and then July. We'll be having what we call the drizzle. So definitely we should brace ourselves for more rain before we get out of the wood.
Is there anything in the forecast for tomorrow?
Tomorrow we have a fair weather, but along the coast there is still a system which we are backing. So maritime activities this evening and to tomorrow morning along the beaches and the coast will be very, very dangerous. So people should be very cautious, especially those of thank God they've even banned fishing, so our fisher folks will not be there so that may experience this havoc. And we are having some systems. However, Friday will be a little relaxed for the coastal areas. The middle part of the country will experience some rain. Then hopefully by Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll get that rain.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Tete Potofi, who is with the Ghana Meteorological Agency. I have in the studio George AEC, who's the Director of Communications at NADMO. We've heard Mr. Potofi there. Now, he says they issued the warning at 11:30. Did you get this warning?
Yes.
All right. What would you typically do or usually do when you have a warning like this?
Yeah, we relay to all our stations, especially the places that are going to be affected. We relay the information to them so that they use the local radio station to broadcast.
All right. Now, from where you sit, I understand that you can tell the areas that were badly hit. Can you tell us which areas? We know that at Abraka, as we saw it, was badly hit. We know parts of Spintex Road.
Yes.
We also know that the George Walker Bush, somewhere around Tetekwashi, they also had, they were also affected. Which other areas do you know?
Of course, the Kaneshi itself. The surprising area is American House. In East Legon. We were a bit surprised about that. And then, of course, during Ghana, too, we were a bit surprised. These are not the usual places that are flooded when it rains. So what do you
think must have gone wrong?
We suspect, the first suspicion that comes to mind when it so happens is that somebody might have
blocked the drain.
Yes, built on waterway. So those are the immediate, because last time Parakou Estate also experienced flood, and the investigation showed somebody had built on waterway. And so these are the challenging issues.
What would you typically be doing at a time like this? It's the night of the day when we had this heavy downpour. What would you be doing? What would NADMO be doing?
No, our men will be patrolling the city and going to especially the hardest hit areas to see whether there's been some distraction, whether individuals' lives have been affected and others. So they mop up to see some of these, and then if there's the need to go, sometimes we get trees falling, and then our men must be dispatched to go and cut those trees and go. Last time when it rained, the Liberian embassy was affected. There was a tree that fell and blocked their passageway. So our men had to go there and cut the tree. So these are the things we do after the rain. The syndicates move into places that they suspect, may experience some of these challenges. Or where we get calls, distress calls, we make follow-ups to those places to help solve the problem for them.
About an hour ago when we checked with you, you indicated that there were no casualties. Do we still have that being the situation?
Since I came to the studio, I've not been in touch with the Emergency Operations Center yet. If I get in touch with them, they will update me on that.
We saw the situation in Adabraka where people have lost their livelihoods, their shops have been taking over, their homes and all. What would NADMO do for them?
Yeah, NADMO's assessment team will go there and then do proper assessment and take the reports to NADMO, and then based on the assessment and recommendations, if we need to restore their livelihood, NADMO will take steps. But in the meantime, in the immediate, we need to get them something to keep body and soul together.
Now, the Adabraka area is right adjacent the Odo, which we know is being drained or has been drained. If with all the draining of the dredging of the place, we're still having this challenge. What more could be done? Or could it be that the dredging wasn't really the problem, or the silting of the drain wasn't really the problem?
Yeah, it's a problem, but it means it goes beyond that. It means it goes beyond that. And they said it in the interview that there's a certain construction work going on somewhere which had been stopped. You get it? And so that has prevented water from flowing the usual way. Right, your reporter spoke to somebody and that came out. And so if that is the situation, then it means that work must be speed up to complete the works there, so we can allow free flow of water there. Otherwise, they'll be having these problems there.
All right, thank you very much, George Isi. George Isi is the Director of Communications at the National Disaster Management Organization. Unfortunately, Adabraka isn't the only suburb hit by the Wednesday floods, as many other suburbs are reeling from the effects of the downpour. Many homes and offices were flooded. A runoff water also took over many roads in the city, rendering them temporarily unpassable and holding up traffic for many motorists in the process. Social media was flooded with many such images. The family of late Army Major Maxwell Adam Mahama have expressed concern over what they say is the unending trend of mob actions. Father of the late soldier, Captain retired Dennis Mahama, says the family had expected a gruesome murder of their son to be the last. Government Wednesday unveiled a monument in honor of the late soldier to remind citizens not to take the law into their own hands. Joy News has been engaging some Ghanaians 2 years after the lynching of the soldier to find out why mob actions still exist.
The viral video capturing men with clubs and stones beating the life out of a young soldier left many shocked. The calls for swift punishment of those involved was loud. The family remained worried as arrests and release of suspects were widely reported.
There shouldn't be not less than 50 people here, because it's the people who are involved in contributing in one way or the other to get him killed are more than 50.
2 years on, 14 persons are still standing trial for the crime. 10 of the state's 14 witnesses have already testified. The crime is still fresh in the minds of James, Daniel and Sean, who can almost recall the incident as if the news broke yesterday.
Unlucky person to find himself in that situation.
A Captain Major Mahama, very sad.
I can understand how his family and loved ones must feel about his death. I myself, I was hurt by it, but I think 2 years on, we should be able to put a finger to what exactly that we have learned as a people.
The family of a soldier had indicated plans to set up a foundation to campaign against mob justice. Other Ghanaians had also called for an end to citizens taking the law into their own hands. There has, however, been more than 10 attempted or successful lynching stories reported by the press since May 29, 2017, when Major Adam Mahama was killed. James, Daniel and Sean find this worrying.
Yeah, it's because now people don't trust, or over the years, people have lost trust in the justice system, the police, and our court system. How are they dealing with cases when people bring cases to them? How do they deal with it? Look at the Anna's video. You see, what have they done? What are they doing?
We are on a standstill. Everybody is thinking about NDC, MPP, but things need to be put right.
Well, father of the late soldier, Captain retired Dennis Mahama, says it's worrying that not much has changed 2 years on. He's been speaking to pressmen on the sidelines of a ceremony to unveil a monument in honor of the soldier.
The family remain broken 24 months after the murder of Major Maxwell Mahama. He, however, stands tall at the Airport Hills runabout. In his full military gear and sidearm fitted beside him, road users are reminded of the soldier who was brutally lynched while serving his country. All three sides of the monument show the soldier stretching his hand symbolically to stop an attacking mob. The mob carry weapons such as sticks and stones as they charge towards him. Sculptors Francis Boateng and Gladys Adenyira say the monument should be a symbol that ends mob injustice.
In short, you shouldn't get yourself involved in such things, and this monument must be a symbol of a campaign, to end mob attack.
Then I think there's a lot we have to learn from this, that it doesn't have to happen again, and we should question ourselves as a people.
The Interior and Defense Ministers say law enforcement agencies will not hesitate to deal with people who take the law into their own hands.
This young man gave to the people of Ghana should be the last for all of us.
But we want to let the country know that we will not allow anybody to take the law into his own hands and hold this nation to ransom. And in that we need the support of all of us to cooperate with the security agencies and above all, provide information. The president is committed to protecting this country, even though there are struggles in the neighboring countries, and we call on everybody's support. Collectively, we can keep Ghana a peaceful country, and collectively we invite everyone to join us.
Here stands a soldier reminding the public to respect and have faith in law enforcement agencies and never to resort to mob action.
The latest outbreak of violence in Chereponi is known to have claimed at least 3 lives. It is, however, almost impossible to fairly estimate the extent of destruction to property in the anguish of the people. Take the case of Gloria. Properties she says she's worked hard for, her life savings, were razed down when a village was attacked. She's one of the thousands who fled dozens of villages during the clash, but she is also one of the very few with enough courage to return and count their loss. Head of our security desk, Gifty Andapia, chanced on her whilst covering the conflict.
They just started killing people. We don't even know what happened. Look at it. Everything I own is destroyed. My house, everything. I have nothing now. Everything is gone. Repair no easy. They said the Monday run until the kafa. Why? This is well. And they say then I'll say away. What can you then I'll obey? They say. Do I know what to do? I have nothing to do. Now, as I said, my husband has traveled. I told him our house is destroyed. He knows there won't be a place for him to sleep when he returns. But we can't even sleep here. Maybe we'll be beaten by the rain. I just came to examine the extent of damage done so far. But on that day, I saw fire in the nearby village, so I called my children and we ran. I have no other job apart from farming. I have nothing left. On the same day, I wanted to come for this cassava, but I couldn't, and it's also destroyed. Things that they could not bend, like the roof. They cut through them. They brought out my things, including my mattress. They bent them all outside. They bent everything.
Full mattress. Any me bed sheet any them near my no my yin in de go ha no machine in
Go picture now.
Now me say yeah ma
we are women. We don't know anything about the conflict. We don't know what happened.
So bad. You're
always uncertain whether or not they will spare your life when they come to attack. I'm not afraid of the soldiers when I see them around because I've done nothing wrong. I'm rather happy they are here to save our lives if anything happens. I am still afraid, but if the soldiers come around, we will not be afraid anymore.
Now, the Chokosis and Kunkumbas have been fighting since 1994. The clashes resurfaced in June last year, January and March this year before this latest outbreak in May. Gloria is not the only one badly affected by the recent clash. Mabu says he cannot find his wife and 7 children. His 70-year-old mother was forcibly removed from the hut before the assailant set it on fire.
Were they in the house or they ran away? When it happened? Oh.
When it happened, they ran away.
How many children do you have?
I have 7 children.
So all of them, this is their room?
This is their room. This is a sleeping room.
For who?
For my children. They were sleeping here with books. Even the food stuff is on this thing, is with them, in the room there. So when they just got here, they burned all the food stuff as the booth, plus their clothing.
So what your children were inside when the fire started?
No, they was not inside.
Okay.
They ran before they started the fire. The senior one is 20 years.
20, and then?
The second one too is 16 years.
And then?
And then the next one is 12 years.
2016, 12, and then?
And then 10, 7, 5. So the last one is 2 years now.
2 years. Where are your children? Where are your children? Where are they?
They ran away. So I'm now alone in the house here.
So where are they?
So I don't know where to find them.
Where have you checked that you did not find
them? I went to Wapuli site to see where, even I asked people and they said they didn't come that side. So I don't know.
And they have not called you?
And they have not called me. And then I married Chokosi lady.
Your wife is a Chokosi?
Chokosi lady.
So you still don't know where your wife is? You still don't know where your children are?
Yeah.
Have you reported to the police?
Not yet, because we ran away, because we can't go to town, and the policeman is just in town there, so we can't go there. So I don't know how to do and report.
So what are you going to do now? What do you plan to do now?
I'm planning that tomorrow I'll still go to that side and cross-check and see. Maybe they are hiding somewhere.
What are you going to do about your house? Everything is destroyed.
Unless God, because I have nothing to do with it. It's a sleeping room. That's my mother's room.
It's your mother's room. Was your mother here? Was your mother in the room?
Yeah, my mother was in the room.
When the fire started?
But when they came, they said my mother said he will not go out. So they removed my mother from the room and then they burned.
They didn't burn it when she was there, so they just asked her to leave.
No,
so they moved her out.
And then
what did they put her?
Outside.
Outside. Then they burned the house.
They burned the
but
house.
They did not attack your mother. Okay, how old is your mother?
My mother is old, about 70 something.
70 years.
Now known to us, the two are relatives of MP for Chereponi, Samuel Abdullahi Jabanyete, who only saw his siblings for the first time after the conflict. This was his reaction when he came to our studios Wednesday.
In fact, it's sheer coincidence that I'm watching my own people before making a comment.
You know about the stories because they probably called you to tell you, but have you seen, in terms of your sister Gloria, have you seen her home?
Yeah, this is the first time I'm watching it. I've always been in Chereponi since the conflict erupted, but the last but one conflict that happened on the 16th of March 2019, I couldn't go. In fact, I was here in Accra with the DCE and then the regent of the place, because Chereponi has been carved out and is now part of the Northeast region. So the new regional minister, who is also a colleague member of parliament, was appointed, and we're here to, give him that moral support to go through the interview. So the following morning, we're to leave, and midnight we had the news that a community called Nawiako, somebody had been shot there. In fact, looking at the efforts we had put in place, and I just returned from Chereponi, I think 4 days later, then there was that incident. And I had lived in Chereponi for almost 2 weeks, going around every community. So in fact, it put me off and I went blackout. So.
Apologies that we're having to let you tell the story. That's the Member of Parliament for Chereponi for the first time, sharing the story of Chereponi to all of us. And I am sorry that you're having to relive this. Apologies. Really, really sorry.
Interior Minister Ambrose Dare says law enforcement agencies will deal ruthlessly with any person or persons who perpetrate violence in Chereponi. Families have been forced to relocate following days of renewed clashes. Speaking to pressmen on the sidelines of a ceremony to unveil a monument in honor of Major Maxwell Mahama, Mr. Dare said residents of Chereponi must commit to peace.
Last time, the defense minister decided to go and take up the matter locally because he belongs to one of the ethnic groups, and both sides, political divide, ethnic divide, religious divide, they went to talk to the people, which is a way of trying to get consensus so that peace would be sustainable. But on our part, we are enforcing the law. And you've heard that so far 2 people have been convicted and sentenced to 5 years imprisonment. It has never happened. Anytime we have these things, we go and then we arrest people. We never prosecute them. We prosecuted them. And there are other people now who are still in remand. And the law is going to take its course. So there are many ways of approaching it. Under the auspices of the Ministry of the Interior, we have the National Peace Council doing its work, as always, as is doing between the major parties about vigilantism. But we want to let the country know that we will not allow anybody to take the law into his own hands and hold this nation to ransom.
In a related development, the National Chief Imam Sheikh Usman Nuhu Shaributu has appealed to the Chokosis and Kunkumbas to bury the hatchet and smoke the peace pipe as a sign of respect for the holy month of Ramadan. In an exclusive interview, Joy News' Latif Idris, the Chief Imam called on leadership of the feuding factions to use dialogue to settle their differences, stressing on the need for peace.
Wata Ramadan mai alfarma, wata da yi ma ana samun cikin dare, ana samun da kadari a ciki, da fi wata dubu.
I'm calling on the people of Chereponi to exercise restraint for the sake of this holy month of Ramadan, the month that has one night that is so powerful and worth more than 1,000 months. I am begging you to smoke the peace pipe and live in peace for the sake of the month. We were all created equal by God, not to fight among ourselves, but to coexist with each other. That is why we were created.
Ina roƙonsu saboda alfarma wannan wata na Ramadana su kame daga abin da ya zo tsakaninsu, su yi haƙuri da junansu. Ina roƙonsu saboda alfarma wannan wata
So please, for the sake of the month of Ramadan, exercise restraint and be patient with one another. God spoke to us in the Holy Quran not to kill each other. He says he is merciful unto us. So please, let's end the war and live in peace with one another.
The minorities in Parliament is warning it may be forced to withdraw its participation in the consideration and passage of the Vigilantism and Other Related Offences Bill unless government publishes the Emil Short report on investigations into the Ayawaso West Wuogon parliamentary by-election. President Akufo-Addo took custody of the report in March but had yet to make known the content and recommendations of the report. Though the President has 6 months within which he may cause to be published the report, the ranking member on the Defense and Interior Committee, James Agaga, at a news conference on Wednesday, said consideration of the bill without input of the Emil Short report would render the exercise fruitless.
The President has 6 months within which to submit the report. But again, we are very clear in our minds that there are very compelling reasons why the report must be published now. Remember that there is before us the Vigilantism and Related Offences Bill. Parliament is being stampeded to pass that bill under a certificate of urgency. In fact, a few days ago, the President is reported to have stated that Parliament must pass the bill by the end of June. When the President made that statement, the ranking member for the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, our committee, had a lot to say in rebuttal to the President's directive, because it is not the place of the President to issue directives to Parliament. Parliament is not an extension of the Jubilee House. Parliament is very independent. It is a separate arm of government. But given the fact that we are saddled with a bill on vigilantism, a bill that is aimed at ending politically related violence, how is it that Parliament is being stampeded to rush such a bill through without recourse to the Emil Short Commission's report, which was a task to investigate those same issues?
The group is also alleging recruitment of functionaries of the governing MPP to head district offices of the Bureau of National Investigations across the country. Deputy Minority Whip Ahmed Ibrahim, who is also the MP for Banda in the Bunu East region, says the development is compromising the independence of the state investigative body.
I'm in leadership. Motaka is in leadership. Government has recruited its own party functionaries into the state institutions, security institutions, to chase the opposition leadership out of their seats. In my constituency, the National New Patriotic Party's youth organizer is in charge of BNI. Somebody in 2016, I was campaigning, he was a party youth organizer. Now you say I should regard him as my BNI boss. He comes before me, oh, honorable, now I've changed. How can I be confident that you have changed? You were campaigning from the other side. You were campaigning for MPP as a youth organizer. I was campaigning for NDC as a parliamentary candidate. You won. Your party has made you the head of BNI in my constituency. So when I come and sit you in dissect, what confidence am I going to have? You come to the chief whip, Mutaka's constituency. The special aid to the DCE is the head of BNI. These are issues we are talking of.
Thank you very much, Mapitso, and I'm Israelite. Thank you very much for watching. You have a good night.